Hey guys, I'm Megan and you're watching Fabulous TV Pattaya. Today I'm about a 15-kilometer drive south of Pattaya. I am here to check out one of Pattaya's most noticeable landmarks. That is the beautiful Khao Chi Jan. It's a 130-meter tall mountain engraved with a large golden Buddha image, which is actually the largest in the world. So it's certainly something that you should check out on your visit to Pattaya. Just look at the amazing view. Khao Chi Jan is a very popular sightseeing attraction in Pattaya. It's located around a 20-kilometer drive south of Pattaya city, next to the well-known Silver Lake. It's set in beautifully landscaped gardens, with a number of open pavilions and pools filled with lotus flowers, giving the place a tranquil and peaceful atmosphere. There's also a Buddhist shrine for guests to pay their respects. Khao Chi Jan Buddha image was created in 1996 in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej accession to the throne. The image, which is a staggering 130 meters high and 70 meters wide, was carved out of the rock using laser technology. After that, it was inlaid with gold leaf, and this process took months to complete. It's one of the largest Buddha images in the world. The Buddha is officially called Praputtha Maha Wachira Uttamopad Satsada. Khao Chi Jan is open daily from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. and admission is completely free, making it a great place to go for a day of sightseeing and relaxation.
Coco Fitness in Mike Shopping Mall is giving away free yoga and Zumba classes to all members. And you get their state-of-the-art fitness equipment, air-conditioned studios, and a choice of classes too. Gents, buy 3 months, get 1 free. 6 months, get 2 free. 12 months, get 3 free. And for the ladies who are looking to keep in shape, you get 50% off all memberships. Take advantage of these great deals now, from 7 a.m. through till 11 at night. Coco Fitness, no excuses.
Fabulous 103 FM with Crew Fon at Thai Time. Good morning.
สวัสดีค่ะ
How are you?
I'm fine.
What are we going to learn?
About you said ใจร้อน You
ใจร้อน
remember? What is it? You remember?
Angry.
Well, it's more impatient. You cannot wait for anything. You just, you can't.
ใจร้อน
ใจร้อน
ไม่ได้ใจร้อนไม่ได้
ผมใจร้อนมาก So I'm so impatient.
I can understand that one. And we'll find another one tomorrow on Thai Time. Tommy D on Fabulous 103 FM, and with me is Ben Hollis. Good morning.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Ben, if I'm right, you're an 18-year-old student from Leicester. You're planning to go to university in the summer in the UK, but in between time you're riding a cycle, a push bike.
That's right.
From the UK to Australia.
Yep, it's a one-year epic. So I left from Leicester in August last year, and I've got a year on the road basically, going through so far 26 countries and heading towards Brisbane, where I'll be ending the trip this August.
Is this what they call a gap year?
It is. It's my version of a gap year, but So I worked during my time at school, during all the nights there. So as soon as I finished school, I could maximise my time and get straight out on the road.
So you're funding this yourself?
Yeah, I did. I worked in the UK, so all of this is funded. But the great thing with cycling is you can do it very cheaply. So a lot of the time I'm camping as my accommodation. So just wild camping in forests, kind of on beaches, which I love. But also when you turn up on a bike, like tired, dirty, families often welcome you in, you know. They're like, what is this guy doing, turning up in this little village up this ridiculously steep slope? Like, come on, have some rice, man.
Let's look at where you've been so far. You left the UK, obviously, presumably you went to France.
I did.
And then went through France
all the way across Europe. So headed towards Venice after 1 month. And that meant crossing the Alps, which was my first mountain range that I've encountered. That was great. So while I was there, actually, there'd been a bit of a heat wave in Europe, which happened to break while I was in the mountain pass. So it started raining, and I was just crossing this bridge over. I heard this noise. I looked to my left, and there's literally a landslide coming down the mountain, which was ridiculous. And I just kind of hastily crossed this bridge, and the mud just fully go over the bridge, and no one could cross it for the next day. I was the last person to get over it. That was my first crazy.
From Europe,
encounter.
Where did you go next?
So I've had to take one flight on the trip to skip the Syria and Pakistan area, which is
it's a good idea to skip that,
which
yes.
is slightly off limits at the minute.
Yes.
But so I cycled across Europe, like I said, down the Balkans, Greece, Turkey, and then I had to fly to India to skip those bits. And then from India, I've headed up to Nepal. I did the Himalayas as well, which were slightly challenging, and then a big loop around Southeast Asia from Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and here. So now I'm heading down towards Australia.
So you're going down
through Malaysia,
to Malaysia,
and Singapore, Indonesia, and then I'll have to fly again when the land runs out at Bali.
So is there an extra charge for a bike on a plane?
Depends which airline you go with, but generally you send them an email, you explain what you're doing, and anything's possible.
Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So do you any idea how many miles you've done so far, or how many kilometres?
So I don't know whether you work in kilometres or miles here, but it's probably near enough 8,000 miles.
8,000 miles.
So far.
How many punctures?
This is the crazy thing. So on those 8,000 miles, 8 months, I've had a total of 3 punctures, which I can get more punctures than that in a week in the UK. So I had one in London, one in India, and one in Myanmar, which, someone's smiling on me, definitely.
You're doing very, and they were the only breakdowns, no chains breaking, no brakes falling off?
So the great thing I have with my bike is old school, very heavy, but it's made for big trips like this. So everything's simple. When something breaks, I fix it, I carry on. People can do bodge jobs on it in their little mechanics workshops around the world. My brakes stopped working in Germany, and they're the old school kind of style. So just a mechanic got a nail, hammered it into the thing, and it's still working now. So,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So Ben, I've got to ask you a question. What is the best experience you've had so far?
Ooh, that's a big one. I have to say that there's one magical experience which springs to mind, although obviously I've had more than those than I can count. More than I bargained for, actually. So I was in India and my visa was running out, so I was having to hitchhike, and there they have these battered old trucks, kind of decorated, rusted, and I was in the cab of one of those. It was going so slowly that it had gone dark. We were going through this winding forest track, and then out of the darkness, their headlights just illuminate this wild elephant in the middle of the road, kind of stuck, sounding off in the middle of this forest, and I'm just in the cab of this battered truck with some other young guys we're all like, what's going on here?
Wow.
We just had to watch this elephant disappear into the jungle and carried on.
So that's your best experience. What's your worst experience?
Oh, that's another tough one. Well, if you fancy another animal encounter, I've had a few, so you'll have to read my book if you want them all. But in Laos, for example, not too long after, I was wild camping in this. There's crazy mountains there, so I was absolutely cream crackered after a day in the saddle, and I found this wild camping spot in the forest. It's all perfect. Set up tent, and I'm just kind of sleeping in my tent, and I hear this noise. The forest is covered in leaves, and it sounds like wind is like rushing over the leaves, and it just keeps happening. I'm really confused. At about midnight, I'm like, okay, you have to go out, have a look, what there is, see that there's nothing there, and then you'll be able to sleep peacefully. I get out of my tent, and the entire ground around where I'm camped is moving, and there's just thousands and thousands of ants and termites. So I've managed to camp on the middle of a giant termite's nest, and yeah, that wasn't the best.
Oh, you'd actually camped on top of their nest. Not the cleverest thing to do, yeah.
I think I'd managed it, and so that wasn't the best night's sleep, I have to say.
So you're leaving Thailand. Next move is down to Malaysia.
Down to Malaysia.
Indonesia, and then eventually to Australia.
Yeah, exactly, down the coast. So I'll be finishing in Brisbane, Australia, because half my family actually moved to live there when I was younger, and I've never visited them. So,
great.
So now I am, but on my bike.
Apart from meeting your family, what else are you looking forward to that you're expecting on the rest of your journey?
The rest of my journey, so much, but I'd say the beaches going along the coast of Thailand I'm definitely looking forward to. And again, you can never get bored of Thai food.
Absolutely.
Malaysian food's great as well. But also, so I'm going, like I said, back to uni in London to actually study biology, because eventually I want to try and go work in the rainforest. So seeing Indonesia, Sumatra, and hopefully a bit of rainforest there is a big thing for me as well.
And you're raising money for worthy causes, which is excellent. Do you think you're going to make Australia by August?
I hope so. I'll make it happen. But yeah,
because you've got to be back in September to go to university.
Exactly. I've got to push those legs. But again, I'm motivated doing it all for these causes.
Brilliant. So you've got 4 months left before you've got to be in Australia?
Yeah, just about.
4 months cycling. Then you're going back to university. We wish you well. Thank you so much for coming in and seeing us today. And if anybody sees this kid on a bike on his way down through Thailand towards the south, just make sure you give him a little bit more room than you do the average bike.
Yeah.
Coming up next, Pattaya Mail, taking you on a road trip.
Isn't it time that you escaped to the island of Koh Chang and relax at a brand new resort that promises luxury along with the best of island life? The Elysian Pearl is a family-owned resort offering excellent and affordable accommodation with sea views and easy access to the ferry, but not in a crowded tourist area. Jungle, hillsides and waterfalls, elephants and more, all within easy reach. We can arrange transport from the ferry, or you can drive to us and park. Google Elysian Pearl Koh Chang for details. Elysian Pearl Resort, Koh Chang's newest, brightest secret, is out now.
Hey, trouble and strife. Hey, sorrow, won't you be my wife? And today I decided to come up to Pratamnak, and I've come up to Buddha Hill, the largest Buddha image of Chonburi. There you go. I got halfway down the hill, from the top there, where the Buddha was, and then I seen like this place on the right hand side, so I thought I'd have a look here. This looks interesting, so I'm going to do some filming. This looks like it's a Chinese temple by the look of it. Look at that. And then if we look out here, got all nice statues and things. Yeah. Some giant peacocks or whatever they are. And a nice big wall sculpture. All brightly painted. We might as well have a look round while we're here. Yeah, definitely Chinese this. Yeah, look at that. Brilliant. And behind him, yin and yang. I love these carvings, me. All dead colourful. And at the top you've got the dragon. Protecting, obviously, that man there. Well, this is an hidden gem. I've never been in this place before. I've been up Buddha Hill before, and if you do come up, don't miss this place because it's nice. It's like, up there's like Thailand, down here is Chinese, and it's really tranquil because you're going lower down. And I'm now in a place called Zong Sun Garden. Good morning, ladies.
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you? What you do? Feed the turtles?
Yes. Hungry. Want to eat?
Food.
Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye. Well, that's your lot for today. Got up early, 6:30, down on the motorbike, freezing cold, got here, sun's coming up now, really nice and warm. Alright, catch you soon in the next movie. Jeff Carter signing out. Keep smiling.
Hi, this is Tommy D, Fabulous 103 FM, and we've been looking at the questions that you've been sending to us and posting on social media regarding immigration right here in Thailand. With so many listeners contacting us with questions regarding immigration, we at Fabulous 103 decided that rather than guessing, we'd visit the Regional Immigration Office here in John TM and chat with Kun Pichai, who is, after all, the man who signs off all your extensions of stay here. Senior immigration officers have without doubt worked to design a system that reduces waiting time in the offices. The old days of taking sandwiches and planning to be there all day are long gone. It's pretty much streamlined now. And with the exception of days after a national holiday, the wait is far shorter. I visited on a Friday. The queues were short and people were being turned around very quickly. Sat behind a desk piled with passports waiting for his approval, I asked Kun Pichai if we could chat about two important issues to you and me. The TM30 registration and retirement visas, two completely different subjects. I asked first about the initial advisory that every foreigner here must register with the TM30 form at immigration. showing their current address. The TM30 form allows a non-Thai to report themselves as living at an address here in Thailand. When the TM30 form was first being reintroduced, we were told that everyone needed to re-register every time they left the province and returned. So even if you just went to Bangkok for the night, you'd have to report. Kun Pichai asked me to separate those here on tourist visits, that's 1 and 2 months, and those who have 1 year either visas or extensions of stay, in order to answer the question. For those here on a 1-year visa or extension of stay, immigration is happy for you to register one time with the TM30 form, which is free. So when you move into a house or a condo, your landlord needs to report you via the TM30 form to immigration. He'll then get a receipt, and then you put that in your passport. And because we're reporting every 90 days, there's no need to re-register every time we leave our homes. So if you travel somewhere else, when you come back you don't have to go and do a TM30 again. The exclusion from this facility is, of course, if you change your address. At that time, a new TM30 needs to be completed because you no longer live at the address to which you're registered. This amendment has been made to make life easier for expats living here on a permanent or semi-permanent basis. For visitors to Thailand, it's different. Tourists and those on 30 or 60-day visas are treated differently because what they have is not an extension of stay. When a visitor to Thailand stays overnight, their host must register them with immigration, even if they're only staying for 1 night. So if you have a house guest, it's your responsibility to process a TM30 form, and there's a fine if you don't. All guest houses and hotels must register guests. The fine for not doing so for hotels is 10,000 baht right now, and it's expected to rise soon to perhaps 4 times that, with the fine for homeowners or condo owners rising to 10,000 baht too. I asked him about a house or condo being rented out where the owner isn't in the country. How could he or she complete a TM30 document? Kun Pichai reminded me that the TM30 is the responsibility of the head of the house and not the owner. In most cases, that'll be the same person, but the head of house can be easily assigned to any agent by the owner. It can be a friend, it can be the renting agent, it can be anyone that the owner nominates, and that agent then is responsible for registering the tenant. So there's no reason why a TM30 can't be processed. Fines are not due from visitors or tenants. They're due from the head of the household or the hotel operators. That said, not having a TM30 in your passport will often preclude you from obtaining or renewing a visa. So it's a good idea for any tenant to ensure that his or her landlord processes the TM30 form and gives them a receipt that then goes into their passport and can be shown when they apply for the visa. Kun Pichai discussed the modernisation of Thai authorities in the past few years. They've seen a nationwide database introduced which allows the authorities to trace non-Thais here, whereas before a lot of that was down to guesswork and legwork. That really doesn't affect you and me, but it's helped to track down people who are wanted in countries for crimes or wanted here for crimes, as the database is available to the police, to the tourist police, and of course the immigration police, who all work together. People wanted for crimes or other reasons have been quickly arrested and deported. And as he reminded me, the slogan still remains, good guys in, bad guys out. When I asked him the direct question, are you happy for Westerners to be here? His answer was yes, as long as they're the good ones. Along with visa changes, Thailand is seeing fewer problem foreigners and is working closely with Interpol and other authorities in a much more proficient manner. Then we chatted about the changes to retirement visas that have been the subject of so much chat on the internet and emails to us. The biggest issue seemed to be the proof of monthly income or how much is needed and for how long if you're using savings to support your application. We're talking Chonburi province, of course, here, and in Jomtien, both a monthly income or adequate savings is acceptable. There's no question about that. But we do need to understand the way in which they can be accepted. Let's look at monthly income first. For a new application, a brand new application for a retirement visa, the applicant must be able to show at least 2 months of income either coming from overseas or traceable to a taxable source here in Thailand. After all, if you have an income here, even a pension, it's subject to tax. For the renewal of an existing retirement visa, that's an extension of stay, the applicant must be able to show 12 months' income in a similar manner. So for the first application, they give you leeway. After that, if you're claiming a monthly income, you need to be able to show it. The income too needs to be coming in within a few days of the regular date every single month. So if you normally receive your pension, say on the 5th, then a date between the 1st and 9th every month is acceptable, and each one needs to be in excess of 65,000 baht. I asked about a man who derives his income here from, example, a rental income. Kun Pichai told me that that is acceptable, but the applicant must then be able to prove the source and also show tax returns to prove that the money is a legitimate income. For those who prefer to use an amount of savings to support their application, then that's 800,000 baht minimum in the bank 2 months prior to applying. The Thai bank balance must remain at that amount for 2 months and still be in the account 90 days later when reporting again. After that, the balance can be reduced to no less than 400,000 baht, until, of course, 2 months prior to renewing, when once again it must return to the above 800,000 baht level. Either method proves 2 things to immigration and to Thailand. 1, that you have enough money to live on, truly, and 2, that in an emergency there's no doubt that you will have sufficient funds to cover any costs, such as medical. So there you have it. Relief and ease for expats on the TM30 side, explanations of requirements for retirees here, and an immigration office that's worked to reduce waiting time to see an officer. If you have any questions regarding this report, you're more than welcome to contact us. Tommy@fabulous103.com.